has a story. Everyone has been through something that has changed them. So, never judge a person by the chapter you walked in on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hope you guys are well and warm, kicking it fly today, baby. We got double audio, I bet. Go ahead and mute main, please. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Actually, you know what? You can take away. Nope, we'll leave this one. What's up, guys? Sorry, we're just trying to get things figured out. I'm playing in my underwear because my headphone piece was screaming at me. 2 minutes before I get into the show, I jump Discords and I end up in a completely different. My strings? Oh my god. Bumblebee tuna. Great time for a stash blend ad. I mean, no, I'll just play. I don't care. I got strings hanging out the bottom of my pants. My dick's hanging out. What the fuck? Good to see you guys, man. Welcome in. I can't say that, but I did. Welcome in, guys. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are warm. Kicking it fly today, baby. It's Wednesday, and it's time for a little tea with P, where the T is beer and the P is me, and we are together, and I am excited. Huge shout out to everybody for pulling up today. I'm just gonna pull up the comments because this isn't pre-recorded. I see CLTV in the house. I see the Panero tree in the house. I see Piff Guy 401 in the house. I see Nerd Grow here. ONV Closet Med Grower is in the house. Very special guest, legendary guest. A huge fan of which I am. He too was. No. Huge shout out to NV Closet Med Grower. He's going to be pulling up at the top of the hour to kick things off and have a wicked conversation, guys. And I am stoked because there are very few people that I used to watch on YouTube to learn how to grow, but he was one of them. So I'm really excited to dive into things and to kind of scratch his brain when it comes to all things growing, life, love, plant, and everything in between. So huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to you guys for pulling up. Huge shout out to the band, baby. Look at them out there doing their thing. They looking so fly. Karen, you look great. Huge shout out to Mrs. P. Mrs. P's in the house. That's Radiohead, Mrs. P. Mrs. P, how you doing? They won't. She's good. She's good. That is. That's okay. If you reverse the mics, put the audio on, and then take me away, and they'll hear you better. But I'm quieter on that one. I like how loud I am on this one. This one's great. They can't hear you when you talk because the main audio has you and the streaming PC. Yeah, I mean. So anytime we listen to something, we gotta boom. I'm making sure every time we go live, ladies and gentlemen, I make sure Mrs. P's game and her job changes. I ensure that there's new pieces, there's new processes, and an entirely new way of doing things every single week. So that as soon as she thinks she figured it out, I remind her she doesn't have a clue. Nope. Okay? How you doing, Mrs. P? I'm good. You're good. Good.
Can you hear me?
They can if you talk loud enough so that I can hear you.
But they can't hear me through the mic?
No, if you unmute main audio, they will. How you doing?
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, good, good. And then when I talk, you gotta mute it.
This mixer board situation has me confused now.
Mute it. You gotta mute them or mute. I don't know how much double audio it's gonna be, but because 2 meters are moving at the same time, that means my voice is echoing. Click it. There you go. Yeah, lessons, baby. We're learning. Every day is a new day around here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a ton to discuss, my friends. We got, oh gosh, we got more. Hopefully the conclusion to the moldy weed situation. We're going to be talking hyperemesis syndrome. Is it real? Is it fake? Does anyone care? We're going to be diving into that. As I mentioned, we've got NV Closet Med Grower. We got a ton of things going on in the news today, but before all of that, just a message from our sponsors.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear.
Hi, I'm Pigeons 420. Will you be an angel for an abused plant? Every day, innocent plants are abused, beaten, and neglected, and they're calling for your help. Please visit stashblend.com today and join the nation in helping abused plants get an 8-ounce bag of Stash Blend. That's just $27.70 or 96 cents per day. You'll be helping rescue plants from their abusers and provide nutrition, beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizae, and love. You'll help rescue plants from their abusers. Call or join now, and you'll receive a welcome kit of a photo of a dude impacted by your decision. Order now and change a life. Oh, gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, operators are standing by. I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. A huge shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to give a huge shout out to Keith and Chief, man. I see you. What's going on, brother? Red Donk, good to see you. French Toast, bonjour. On a roll, good to see you too. The Doty G, man, what's up? What's up, Double A? Good to see you too, friend. Mrs. P, may I have some roses over here, please? I'm going to need some roses. I'm also going to need a cash tray, I think is fair. I'll take the whole thing. Yo, let's go. Shout out to the sponsors of the show. I got my AC Infinity trim tray right here, or smoke tray. Shout out to Seedsman. Shout out to Spider Farmer. Shout out to all my patrons, man. Shout out to you guys, man, because if it wasn't for you guys, this mission would be a lot different. It would be a lot different. A huge shout out to those that have supported me all this time. If you want to help support the show, see your name on the screen, possibly take part in our live grow classes that are twice a month, head on over to patreon.com/pigeons420. Check it out. See if there's something over there that speaks to you. And let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Because if you did not hear, the channel was denied for a play button. We was denied. Yeah, we got the official email yesterday. They filled me in that because I violate the policies or because we aren't monetized, unfortunately, we're not in the YouTube partnership program. No memberships, no ads, no nothing. No play button. So our ability to reapply is on November 13th. There is a single video still on my channel that has weed in it. It's one video. Show it to my boy Chris because it's his Chill Out OG. And unfortunately, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to have to delete it because I do want this button. So it's frustrating, but it's the way you got to play the game around here. And if I've got to delete one video so that I can continue to exist in a fashion that is consistent with my colleagues and my peers, so be it. I'm going to do it. So hopefully on November 13th, we're going to reapply, get into the YouTube partnership program, and then hopefully get that button, man. I would love to see that button hanging somewhere. There's actually a nice spot right there over the TV that it would look really nice. Hey, what do you think? We're on the right side of that pigeon's picture?
Oh, geez, you moved things.
I did move things. I was tired of that very generic otter picture taking up space right there when I had this very beautiful hand-painted picture by Hasser owner that I thought would look much better, complement the space. On good news, or in good news, even though YouTube doesn't want us, I decided I was going to make a post over on X this week. I made a post on Monday This post went viral, I guess, if you will. 25,000+ views in like 3 days. It was pretty sweet. It was the biggest post I ever had on X. And it kind of got me thinking, you know, over the course of the last couple of years, the suppression has been really heavy on Canna platforms, and in particular creators, either on the Instagram space, the Facebook space, here YouTube space, Patreon space. Everyone's felt some kind of suppression over the last couple of years. And Twitter/X has made it very well known, or very clear, that they are not going to suppress that content. And even though I was a little reluctant to give it a shot, I did. I made a post over there, took a fat rip, said hello, my name is Pigeons. I kind of introduced myself, and the welcome was overwhelming. It was fair to say that it kind of blew my socks off, to be honest. Didn't expect it. So thanks to everybody. Shout out to the 200+ followers I've got over the couple days. Pretty sweet. It's just, people often make the argument, go to Twitter, go to X. This is the place to be. This is where communities are built. This is where cannabis has the ability to express itself, even though you can't hashtag 420. I thought, okay, sure. But Rob made a very good point in regards to Twitter is not a search engine. It is a social media platform, meaning people don't go to Twitter to search things. They're not looking for how to grow cannabis. They're not looking to do this. They're not looking to that. They're looking to build community. Actually, that's kind of what I'm noticing over there. When you come to YouTube, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world next to Google. So people come to YouTube to discover shit, to find shit. If you are having a hard time putting spark plugs into your car, what do? You YouTube it. If you're trying to build a computer and you get stuck trying to put the processor in, and what do? You YouTube it. If you get something stuck inside your lawnmower and you're working outside, what do? You lose your right arm because you didn't YouTube it. No, I'm just joking. Jakin. Do you know Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good man. The thing is that that's the difference between these two platforms. However, what I noticed is that X kinda is more oriented towards community. It's not people searching how to do things, it's people searching for people. People searching for interaction. So it's a little bit different. I liked it. I think I'm gonna stay. I'm posting little rips over there every day. And yeah, fucking A. I really enjoyed it. Shout out Twitter X. Are you guys there? Is anyone on Twitter X over here in the chat? I said I'd be here. I said I'd see you and I'd give you a shout out. But I know it's not for everyone. So it is what it is, whether you like it or not. Hopefully I see you over there. I'm not looking to make any too forcible stand. I just want a place where people can hear me and where we can speak. We can speak. Also, guys, I wanted to give a huge shout out to you, man. Not only did I post on X and had that post blow up, I posted a video yesterday about genetics, the nasties, and you guys pulled the fuck up. That is one of my largest videos to date. In 20 hours or 24 hours or a little over, it's got like 20,000 views, 17, 18, 19,000 views. Huge, huge. Doesn't normally happen. I kind of hit the luck of the algorithm on that with your love and support, which is the interaction, the thumbs up, the comments. When they see that, when YouTube sees that, they just keep feeding that video out. So thank you guys so much for pulling up. Banger video, but even wicked to see that my community's backing me, man. Even though I don't have the support of the very platform that I post on. It's not a big deal, but I love you guys. So thank you very much. Real quick, a few housekeeping items. I wanted to give a huge shout out to some of the creators around here that are putting out some banger content, aside from myself. Rob put out a wicked video earlier this week as well. Frickin' banger. Make sure you're checking that out. He put out the very first AI Plus video for AC Infinity. Make sure you check that out. I was also very impressed with ICANN, Mr. ICANN THC or ICANN Organics, whichever you choose to refer to him as. He put out a video, which is very tough to put out. It was the two political candidates right now that are in America. And he gave their stance and kind of broke down what they're offering the American people in regards to weed. And I was very proud of him. I was very proud of him. And for what it means, you know what? I understand that putting out these kind of videos really polarize. And it makes people not I don't know. People don't like talking politics. I get it. It's very polarizing. But that's because the people at power have made it polarizing. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But it's become that way. So huge shout out to Matt, a fellow creator of mine that's willing to take the dabble and present the facts. Present the facts. Thanks, Matt. It was a banger video, brother. One other thing. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Chris. Sorry, I'm reading my list here because I don't want to forget. Huge shout out to Mr. Grow It. Mr. Grow It has been revitalizing his Mr. Grow It channel, and his last couple videos, fucking bangers. I don't know if he's training the wife to be a camera woman. No, I know he isn't. But he got himself a cameraman for this episode, and if I may, this man has never looked more confident, more enthusiastic, more motivating than he did in this video right here. I was so engaged the whole time he was talking. I just loved it. The camera, the effects, the personality of this young man. I think he's going to have a career in this. I think he's going to kick it. So before you guys hear about him, you heard him here first. That's Mr. Grow It. If you didn't know who it was, now you do. This video is going to blow him up. So yeah, huge shout out to Chris, man. Right now, if I may, cannabis content is off the chain. Best state it has ever been. We've got creators that are talking about politics. We got creators that are traveling California. We got creators that are hosting events in LA. We got creators that are just putting out some documentary type work. This is the best time in Canada. Canna. In Canada. It's not. It's not. But I'm so thankful to be a part of it, man. So thankful to be a part of it. Sorry, for the first time I can hear myself in my headset, and there's a slight delay, and it's driving me bonkers. But anyways, with that being said, I think it's only fair that we actually ingest some of this, some cannabis. Dare I say it? I'm looking over there and be like, what are you guys smoking on tonight in the chat, ladies and gentlemen? I want to hear from you. I see you right here, baby. I see you right here. I'm smoking on some donkey butter. Man. An absolute banger. I see you guys, man. Idiom, good to see you too. The delay, right? Peanut butter pie for Chi-Town. Let's go. Doty's got I have no idea, but it's good. And sometimes that's all that matters, okay? Sometimes that's all that matters. Sherbert Queen. All right, Lacey, let's go. Got some Sherbanger over here. Chill out, OG. Okay, on a roll. Some Skittles for Pal. Riot's got some Skunk One. Apple Blossom for Trent. Let's go. We got a wonderful circle of weed in here. I always get the hiccups at the worst time. Inner Vibes, good to see you, friend. Pilot Light, never heard of that. Finishing off the rest of the cake pop. All right, Brick, love it, man. I don't know how to read that. I think it's like, what is that? Punjab? Runts S1 crossed with Panama Tester. Let's go. Shout out to India. Aaron, bag seed over here. Nothing wrong with a bag seed. Good bag seed can go a long way sometimes, friend. Can go a long way sometimes, and I'm okay with that. Where is... I can see the comments a little bit here. Get it squared up. All right, you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? I couldn't imagine all of us in a room with that RA. Shit smells so good. Yeah, it'd be probably intoxicating. Pretty nasty in regards to the smell. Grease Monkey. Is that a nasty one too? All right. This hoot's for you, okay? We did it for the kids. We were really responsible. We did it for world peace last week. You guys kicked it out of the park though, man. I'm telling you. Your attitude, your motivation, your smile, your hustle, you're willing to kick ass, keep stress away, and keep positivity close. Yeah, you deserve this one this week. This hoot's for you. Cheers, friends. Reefer in, bad vibes out. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great time to talk about the nudes. Without further delay, let's do it.
Canna News. All things culture, science, and health. Your one-stop shop for all things Canna News.
First thing that I would like to discuss, pretty big nudes, if I may, hitting the community pretty hard and pretty fast over the last couple days, and that is AC Infinity, brand new controller AI Plus. This bad boy has been released, and as a matter of fact, you can now pre-order it as of today. Promo code Pigeons420 if you want to save a few dollars off. But this right here is my swag. Pretty boy swag. Pretty boy swag. Sorry, we were doing the nudes. I forgot. My bad. AC Infinity just dropped the the AI controller, which is the very first, if I may, AI incorporated grow controller that's going to pretty much do what you want it to do simply by plugging things in, switching to what stage of growth you're in, and then forget about it. Forget about it. Starting at $169. I think this is going to be pretty sweet. I've got my own review coming of this piece because I actually did find a technical issue. Rob found 200 of them, but I found one that I created all by myself. So I'm going to be discussing that and more in my review that's going to be coming later this month. Hopefully next week sometime. The big thing is that I highly recommend when you do get it, so a little T exclusive, is that I highly recommend that you plug it in using the power cord that it comes with. And I know you're going to be like, yeah, duh. No. Every other controller works off of just plugging a piece of equipment that plugs into the wall into it, and it works just fine. This one, not so much, but I'll be diving into that a little bit more for sure. But Controller AI Plus by AC Infinity, they had the keynote yesterday, they released it today, and pre-orders are open. So if you do hit it up, help support a dude, help support the show, save a little money, and use promo code Pigeons420. Honestly, it's one of the greatest ways to just give a little nod of the hat to the channel to say thank you. Is just save a little money, and I also gain a little bit as well because I get 10% as well. I get a cutback. So appreciate you guys for supporting me. You guys know that when you type in the passcode, type in the promo code, you're helping a dude out. So thank you guys so much. With that being said, there's also other things in the nudes today. And in fact, it's a relatively boring week in the nudes. So I had to just jump through pits of lions, flaming asphalt, and daggers to get even the most remotely interesting stories to get us through till we can talk to the man, NV Closet Med Grower. As a matter of fact, I forgot a story last week that kind of, well, actually I vomited a little bit in my mouth, and then I swallowed it, and I got over it. That is the clip of koala puffs and Foozy Tube. Like, WTF, mate? Where the hell did this collaboration come from? On Twitter, like we got the clip here. Miss Peach is going to pull her up. There's a clip of koala puffs serving up a dab for Foozy Tube. And, well, I'll let you watch it. This is fucking stupid. You might have to unmute it. You want to unmute it, babe? Can you unmute it? Can you unmute it? There we go. She could hear it. She couldn't hear me.
And you just took your first dab. Yeah. Drink it.
That's his first
so
dab.
This is ISO. You want to smell it? I don't know why you smelled it. Oh God, he's good. I shouldn't have let him smell it. I didn't think he was gonna smell it. I said ISO anyway. This is 91% ISO. I strongly suggest 99% ISO.
The fact that you can hear him, it just makes this even better.
Susie.
I'm so glad. Oh, that makes my day.
Turn your mic off.
He has no idea. He's just running for the hills. Oh, man. So, for those that don't know, and if you don't know who FouseyTube is, again, I'm so... good for you. Good for you. Because you're still pure. Your innocence is admirable. FouseyTube is an absolute loser on the internet. One of those guys that made himself famous and then turned everything that he touches into an absolute mockery. He's disrespected friends. He's the most absurd, rudest person to work for. Yeah, this guy's absolutely horrible. And unfortunately, I'm just kind of stuck asking, how did Koala Puffs get stuck or get in the same room as this? How did this collaboration happen? I don't know. Very strange. Very strange. I like Koala Puffs. Not a huge fan of FouseyTube, but you know what? If she's trying to use his platform to make a name for herself, I guess I get it. I guess I get it. Or maybe, you know, somehow her team doesn't know the things that he's done or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever. That's the nudes we're making nudes. So if you guys have been following along with the Eric Kahn and the mold situation, that story is kind of like a holiday teat. Yeah, it's the gift that just keeps on giving. This guy finally cuts ties with Bay Smokes. Does he cut ties or does Bay Smokes cut ties with him? No idea. Personally, don't care. Saw on the website that he was doing a giveaway, selling everything in store, 40% off, getting rid of the name, and getting away from it. This is the response that probably should have happened on day 2. However, it took this long to figure it out. The guy is just like, yeah, special. Anyways, I think it's just interesting that it was like beating a dead horse to try to get an apology or get some kind of accountability or something out of him. But it finally happened, and they've split ways. Now, Dope as Yola has responded as well, and in fact has decided to quit selling his micros. I guess part of the weed game online is to just sell all your shit, whether it's good or not, is to put a price tag on it and sell it to people. And people have done just that. They call it smalls or micros. And essentially, this is just shit bud that they package. They tell you it's shit bud, and then sell it for a discounted price. I don't know if you consider this taking advantage of people on a budget or what, but they admit that this shit is shit weed. Well, Dope as Yola has said, I'm not selling this shit anymore. I'm tired of even 1 or 2 or 3 complaints coming in where people buy this and they're like, this is shit weed. And Dope as Yola, Thomas, has to say, yeah, that's what you bought. So he decided he's going to quit selling. He's going to quit selling his micros and smalls pack. And we just got a quick snippet from shout out to Strange Show. He did another banger video on the conclusion of this. I know you've probably already seen it. So I've just got the nice clip of Thomas referring to him taking a hit for this. Unmute it.
They're balling on a budget. They're good for me. And some people are like, these are dog shit. I don't like them. I'm like, okay. So everyone out there, I discontinued the micros. I took the micros off the site. Whatever's on there is the last thing you'll ever see them on there. I'm going to be completely transparent. It's about 18% of our sales, which is huge for one SKU. 18% of our sales. We are taking a major loss. I'll say that. I'm not asking people to buy it. It is straight lowest tier possible besides shake. And I said that, guys, people buy it like crazy. You would have no idea how much. We've had about 20,000 orders, and we've had about 180, 200 people go, hey, I don't like this. This is not what I thought it was going to be.
How about that? Dope as Yola actually.
So of course, you see, you know what? I don't actually hear an echo either. Maybe we just leave it until someone says something. Until we go to edit this, and then we're like, I'm glad to see the accountability. This is exactly what should happen if you have product where people are generally complaining about. You can double down and say, hey, that's just the product we've got. Or you could say, no, we're just going to get rid of it. I think it's interesting that he's losing 20% of his total revenue from that one SKU. I'm not doubting it. I just think it's crazy that's 20% from one product dropped out of the bottom line. Pretty crazy, but 182 complaints when you've released tens of thousands of orders is pretty high. That's 200 complaints. What is that? That's 2%. 2% is crazy number in my opinion. KMUD should catch up soon. But that is the attitude that you want to see. I think it's interesting though that this is the time. Like I said on the last episode, it baffles me that it took this long for accountability. I would have been tripping over my own feet trying to apologize and correct this issue. And it's just like to see someone who's just so spoiled, so ignorant, so willing to abuse and take advantage of their community. It frustrates me. It grinds my gears because I can guarantee he's got a play button. Yeah. He's got a play button. And in fact, I bet you he's monetized too. I bet you can go onto his channel and join a membership. I bet you can. Anyways, that's the story. Hopefully that's the end of it. But as far as it goes for influencers selling shitty weed, I think we're not going to, I think this isn't the last time we're going to hear about it. So that's the story. That's my opinion. But I want to hear about you, or I want to hear it from you. What do you think? Or do you even care? Because I'll be straight with you. These are kind of like things where it's like, I don't want to care, but when we're talking about the health of somebody within the community who's getting sick, someone's got to say something. And, you know, this all started because of, it was Feral MILF 420 that made the post. She got sick. Nothing really happened. And then there was a profile on X by the name of Growing Pains that called out Eric and Tim, both of them, and said, hey, member of your community got sick and you guys are absolute crickets on this situation. If all goes well, we're going to be talking to Growing Pains too. He's very outspoken. He's on Twitter. And I envy his very blunt attitude. So we're going to be talking to him very soon too. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. However, we got more in the news, ladies and gentlemen. Should you be concerned about cannabis hyperemesis syndrome? This is a conversation that I have had multiple times. I do believe we've hashed this out on From the Stash a couple times as well. However, it's back in the nudes again. And as a matter of fact, just the other night while I was on Twitch, streaming at Pigeons420 gaming, you can come find me role-playing GTA. I was playing and someone came in the comments section and said, I've been recently diagnosed with cannabis hyperemesis syndrome and I need your thoughts. And this is one of those things where, A, I'm not a doctor, so it's very tough for me to give any medical advice. B, I'm not a scientist, so it's tough for me to give any realistic or real accurate medical advice. But I can use what limited knowledge I have to kind of guide us through this equation or through this question. And the reality is that what is cannabis hyperemesis syndrome? I was going to use the Wikipedia definition. Mrs. P said use the Clinic of Ohio or Cleveland Clinic. And so by definition, the cannabis hyperemesis syndrome is essentially, can you zoom in way or go full screen on this one so I can read it there big and loud. There we go. So cannabis hyperemesis syndrome can affect people who use cannabis long term. CHS causes frequent, severe nausea and vomiting. Hot baths and showers may temporarily relieve symptoms, but the only way to cure CHS is to stop using cannabis. Well, I think that is a very vague, a very stereotypical answer. And although I think there's a problem with that definition, it glosses over the reality of the issues that these people are facing. From my very limited knowledge, the majority of circumstances where people are suffering from CHS, it's coming from a contaminated variable in the chain somewhere. Whether that variable is coming as early as the growing process, where the cultivator is using some kind of pesticides, herbicides, some kind of, typically some have heard of neem oil. Well, you can get a neem oil intoxication, and there's a name for it, and for the love of God, I should remember it right now, but I can't. Neem oil intoxication, but often undetectable after the product has been grown and consumed. So once you consume the product, you can't determine if that product had had neem oil presence or not, had any kind of pesticide presence or not. The argument that people who use cannabis excessively are more prone to face some of these symptoms, I feel is problematic, because what else is going on in these people's lives that could lead on these kind of symptoms? The symptoms, as you heard, were extreme nausea, abdominal pain, and there was something else. These are very generic symptoms. Have you ever looked at the symptoms of Tylenol? Far more extensive. Side effects, thank you. Of Tylenol, far more extensive. But we don't talk about that. If someone takes too much Tylenol, or suffers from ailments while taking Tylenol, we don't assume it's an Tylenol intoxication. We assume there's something else. The same thing can be said about CHS, Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome. Often, too, when you want to incorporate the argument of psychosis, there is a predetermining or an underlining predisposition to psychosis that is then accentuated by cannabis, or at least brought on by cannabis, or sped up by cannabis. That's a legitimate argument. And a lot of the time, a lot of these people are under the age of 18. They're adolescent. And if you're new here, you will know that I am a huge proponent for not consuming Canna until you're over the age of 19. Or sorry, no, oh, there we go. Yep, it's okay, I gotta go back to the other screen. Until you're over the age of 21. Now, we of course all know that, yeah, pigeons, we all did weed long before we were at the age of 21. And yeah, you're right. But you know what? A lot of people who did consume cannabis before the age of 21 did have some kind of problem. They did have negative effects. They did have either some kind of cognitive delay, some kind of psychosis, some kind of negative effect, but we weren't able to attribute it to cannabis at the time because science was low. It wasn't nearly where it is today. The problem with this is that when people want to blame everything on CHS, we lose the argument of what the real issue is. Was it weed that caused these problems? Or was there an underlying variable that led to this? Because if that's the case, we're doing not only cannabis, but we're doing the patient a disservice by not addressing the root cause of what's going on. I continue to see time and time again people saying cannabis hyperemesis syndrome is a negative effect of using cannabis, and people should be weary of it. You're actually right. But you can't stop there. So when I do know people that get extremely nauseous when they consume I do know people that get extremely anxious when they consume. Is this cannabis hyperemesis syndrome? Or is this their body saying that their way of consumption is not approved, is not acceptable? Often, as I told the person in the chat, I don't want to give any medical advice, but I find if you're getting your product from the same location over and over and over again, there's a contamination along the line somewhere. Whether it's coming from the farm that grows it, whether it's coming from the, I don't know, the packaging company that's sterilizing it, I don't know. I don't know. And if we don't know what it is and we just say, oh, it's weed, these practices never get corrected. And we continue to do wrong and we never get better. So I do not believe in cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. I believe it is a blanket term that is used to define a number of symptoms that doesn't get to the root cause. So maybe you might disagree. Spray packs. So I see Grandpa Grows in the chat says spray packs, question mark. Yes, of course. More now than ever, we're seeing a high level of contamination on product. Not only do we have stories tonight that involve contamination of product, but we've seen time and time again of contamination of product. So is hyperemesis a real thing? I don't believe so. I do believe people have a negative reaction to weed, but it's not a syndrome. There's other variables at play. So that's my opinion, but of course, I want to hear from you. What do you think about cannabis hyperemesis syndrome? Legitimate or not? Would you like to hear more, like in regards to science, or do we just think that this is overhype and this is a way for proponents who are against weed to use it as ammunition to fight and to argue against it? I want to know. I want to know. But that's my opinion. As I mentioned, I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me at large. Okay. I'm smoking weed. That's my opinion. I also wanted to cover a few hot shot points tonight in regards to the nudes. If you're in Canada or beyond and you're using illegal, or if you're using vape carts, God, more cases of contaminated carts. High levels of pesticide found in illegal cannabis vapes. A new study conducted in New Brunswick, that's Canada, I'm assuming, or I think there's a New Brunswick, UK, actually, reveals high levels of chemical contaminants in illicit cannabis vape cartridges, including high levels of pesticide contamination. The study, released by RPC Labs, so we've got another lab getting in on it, an analytical testing lab, looked at the chemical analysis of cannabis vape carts, extracts like hash and shatter, dried cannabis flower, and edibles. RPC is New Brunswick's provincial, so it's Canada, research organization. So it's government. Fuck. You can't. Anyways. Results also showed THC levels in illicit products much lower than the labeled amount. We've covered that before as well, with edibles and vapes being from 16 to 86% less than THC than the package claimed. We've said this, 20 to 80% is a typical variable. So keep that in mind, guys. I sure hope you're getting your carts and your vapes from a legitimate source. It is so important. Don't be getting this shit off the streets. Don't get it from a fucking vending machine. Get it from a legitimate source, like Einbay. Okay? China has deported a Volkswagen executive for allegedly using drugs while in Thailand. A senior executive for Volkswagen in China has been deported for allegedly using cocaine and marijuana while on vacation in Thailand, according to a Chinese authority. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Can't avoid it, even the tops of the Volkswagen. Germans are getting their dose. As we're talking about children using weed, I wanted to highlight cannabis use linked to thinner cortex in adolescence. Cortex, if you don't know, is a small pod they use to ship people to the moon. Cannabis use in adolescence may lead to thinning of the cerebral cortex, a key brain region of cognitive function. That's what I said. Researchers found that THC causes the shrinking of dendrites, which are crucial for neuron communication. This atrophy may affect the brain's ability to learn, cope, and interact socially, increasing vulnerability during a critical period of brain development. This is why I, Pigeons 420, do not condone children smoking weed. Okay? I do not. Simply. Of course, we were all kids when we started. I wasn't. I was a little bit older. But anyways, I was like 18, 17, 18, 16, 17, 18. A lot of people were younger. Mrs. P, how old were you?
13.
She was 13. She was 13. She actually introduced me to weed.
That's a lie.
It is a lie. I made it up right now. 13.
But I live in a really small town, and that was all there was to do at that age. So
It's a small town. It's a small town. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just a small town boy, smoking weed on a lonely night. Anyway, gonna get copywritten again. Arms the angel. I need Martina McBride. So I don't condone children doing weed, smoking weed. Okay, all right, pretty crazy. Yeah, Mrs. P's a rebel. Halloween's around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, and I think it's only fair that you get a warning. Okay, this is your warning. All right, keep cannabis edibles away from trick-or-treaters and give them to their parents. That's what the headline says right there. Okay. This is why, even for my 13-year-old, we check his stuff, because if there's any good drugs in there, I'm going to eat them, and then we're going to keep those out of the hands of children. Who the hell's giving drugs away at Christmas or Halloween?
right? That's expensive.
That's very expensive. I don't get it. But
And it happens every year.
it's Halloween season, baby. It's Halloween. Someone's getting some kind of goodies. Is it you? I want to hear from you. Yeah, bangers. Mrs. B, I think I'm thirsty.
You need a water?
I need a T. Where the T is beer and the P is me, and Mrs. P is popping bottles.
You need a water.
No, I will. Oh, you're right. I woke up with a deadly headache. I don't need one. No, I only had this one and one before it, and that other one.
Where's the beer?
We got bottles. They're right there.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah, I did bottles today. I got a lighter. We go ham. Yeah, we go ham. Leave my leg in the shot like that. You see that?
There you go.
See that? See what I did there? Guys, we have got an incredible guest at the top of the hour here in just a few minutes. We're going to be hashing out all things life, love, plant, and everything in between with the man, myth, legend, NV Closet Med Grower. This is a guy who's been in the game way longer than me, like most, but not only that, on YouTube. There's not many that have been doing YouTube longer than me in this game, but he's one of them. And he's one of those guys that not only has been doing it longer than me, he's one of those people that I was watching when I was trying to learn how to do it. Up there with the Jorge Cervantes in regards to the how-tos. I regard this man very high up there on my influential Canna creators of all time. God, I wish I used my sound effects on my soundboard for that one. Canna creator! Anyways, I've been trying to...
I can do that.
No, you can't, because I'm not plugged into that one. Oh. But that was close. You were good. She was so close, she was going to make it happen. You were going to make it happen.
Dude, I've wanted to play with the pitch thing on this new toy since it came, and you showed me that you could, like, change your voice to be like a little mouse or like deepen it.
Yeah.
Someday,
Pretty sweet, huh?
In the middle of a stream, I'm just gonna start messing with your voice and.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yep, that's fair. I like what Shots Fired's on here. If you guys wouldn't mind, you enjoy these Wednesday night teas, hit that like button for me. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, because we do this stuff every single week. We've got a great guest next week, but we've got an incredible guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm stoked for it. So let's have a rip, and then we're going to have a little message from our sponsors, because I learned a lesson last week, guys. Oh my God, I had to pee so bad. I walked to the bathroom like this. Oh, I had to pee so bad. It was death. Ladies and gentlemen, this hoot's for you. Ah, perfect. It's that time. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a message.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear.
Hi, I'm Pigeons 420. Will you be an angel for an abused plant? Every day, innocent plants are abused, beaten, and neglected, and they're calling for your help. Please visit stashblend.com today and join the nation in helping abused plants get an 8-ounce bag of Stash Blend. That's just $27.70 or 96 cents per day. You'll be helping rescue plants from their abusers and provide nutrition, beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizae, and love. You'll help rescue plants from their abusers. Call or join now, and you'll receive a welcome kit of a photo of a dude impacted by your decision. Order now and change a life. Boom, ladies and gentlemen. What a segue. Almost genius, if I may. We're just going to take a moment. We're going to wait for Mr. NV Closet Meg Grower to pull up the throne here. And we're going to have ourselves a wicked conversation. Now, remember, we will have to unmute the main for this so that we can hear him. Mr. Grow It should be a great convo. NV is a wealth of knowledge and has been through so much over the years. Hits the dab. That's Mr. Grow It. I actually know that guy. I met him in person a couple times. He signed a book. Yeah, Mrs. P met him. He signed a book for me too. Son of a gun. I've got his book, and boy, it's a banger. Huge shout out to Mr. Grow It. Yeah, just waiting for NV Closet Meg Grower to take a seat. I'm going to have another rip here. We're going to get in the right mind frame, right state of mind. Boom. And we're going to nail it, man. We're going to nail it. Also, real quick, too, Mrs. P, we dropped a brand new shirt, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
I'm having issues finding it, however.
Oh, we lost it. It's in the laundry already. But
Oh, yeah. Not yours specifically. Oh, there it is. Okay. No, I just, usually when I post a new one, it's the first one that comes up on the store. And this time it was not. But here it is.
Yeah, nice.
In all its glory.
It's the some soar with the eagles, others get high with the pigeons shirt. That's now available, ladies and gentlemen.
Colors.
All different colors. If that's something you would like and you would like to support the show, get it before the holiday season. It's the some soar with the eagles, others get high with the pigeons tee. I think you guys will love it. It's just like putting on a nice warm hug. It's like a constant embrace. Feels wonderful. I think you'll like it. Huge shout out to you guys, man, for even checking that out. We appreciate you. But man, I want to smoke a little bit of weed. What you guys smoking on? What you guys smoking on? What y'all smoking on, man? I'm gonna pack this tight. Want to get as high as I can before we do this because it's live. I hit that too hard and I got resin on my finger. He's just getting his seat. This is fantastic. I'm stoked. I'm going to wipe this off on something that nobody can see me wiping off on, like the power cord of my computer. And then I'll go to pick that up, and then it'll be gone. Homegrown, finally. Somebody pulling lime pie in the bowl. Ooh. And there's the man himself just pulling up right here. I can see the limo. Fantastic. Yeah, Jeeves, you got the door for him? Perfect. Let me make sure he's taking good care of. Oh, there's a smile. All right, let me rip this, and we're gonna jump into a wonderful conversation here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it.
Come on and lift your glass. You've won your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Okay. That okay. All right. Well, I can't walk you through it then if you can't hear me. Dang it. It would be. Yeah, I don't think so, because he would hear me coming through this. He'll get it. This is one of the reasons that I use Discord for. Or that if you don't know, I use Discord for my video conversations because A, it's free, and B, it's something that I already have. It's easy. It is what it is. I get 4K, but the difficulty of it is that it's not as easy as just a link. You kind of gotta do a few things beforehand. So it can kind of get a little bit nerve-wracking. Excuse me. Can't hear me yet, eh?
Do I need to unmute yours?
Unmute? No.
No, I can't hear you on the Discord. I can only hear through the YouTube.
Is the output, so the your output needs to be selected via so if you go to voice and audio, cogwheel in the bottom left corner, open that up, and then about 3/4 of the way down the page there's a voice and video. Click on that. At the top of the screen it's going to say input and output, and just make sure the output is set to what I'm assuming is either your speakers or headphones.
All right.
He can't hear P. That's right. Yeah, he can't hear the Discord.
Yeah, for some reason it just says default on there, but it's not showing up.
And in the drop-down menu, and it's not showing up. Do you have a set of headphones you can plug in that it'll default grab?
Fuck, hang on a second. I just closed Discord.
That's okay. It'll still be open bottom right corner for you.
Right.
Surprised it's not grabbing the. I'm surprised it's going to default, and then there's nothing on default.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't know why
No,
this shit ain't
no, you're
working.
good. No, you're good. 100%.
He's gone.
I'm just. Oh, he backed out. The joys of having a live show, ladies and gentlemen. No. No, definitely will. We'll get it, folks. We'll get it. We hear him loud and clear. Yeah, he sounds good. I sound good, but he can't hear me. He can only hear me via the stream, which has like a 7 to 10 second delay on it. Ugh. What are you sipping on, P? Sipping on a Soul. What is that? I believe that's Spanish for sun. I think.
Sounds about right.
Soul? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of, I could hear him just fine. Yep. I could hear him just fine. Yep. Everybody could hear each other except he couldn't hear us coming through Discord. And I'm just kind of Cheerios as to. He said when he used his drop-down menu, P is just a bit echoey. Okay, so it will be that main.
Oh yeah, because I've got it on. Sorry.
Now the only thing is though, is that I'm really quiet on that main. I wonder why. Whereas on the bottom one, I'm not.
You turned down this thing.
Turn it up. Yep. Yep. So mute the wireless, turn the main. There we go.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Interesting. Now it came back. Look at that. Oh, it's because I'm coming through the wire. I'll fix this. I'll fix this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll fix this. P is a pro. P is not a pro. P is not a pro. He's slowly trying to figure this out as he goes.
But he likes changing things on me.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's that mic. Yep. It's all right. I added a brand new mixer to the equation. And of course I changed it up with a brand new piece of equipment. And yeah, we're growing. We're growing around here, and because none of us have a degree in audio engineering, we flounder sometimes when it comes to trying to figure this shit out. But it's fun. It's a constant journey. I remember when we had this first issue on the first and second and the first 20 episodes, and how nervous I was when this would happen. I would get absolutely just, I would start sweating, and I was just like, ah. And then now it's just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm fine.
I enjoy Bendo. Yeah. Sometimes I get excited when this happens. I really want to hear what he has to say, but also the impromptu emergency Rob guest is always great. He is always our standby. Always.
You know what? He's not my standby. He's my number one.
Well, obviously. But he's always good for a quick conversation if we need him.
Has he came back in or no?
No.
Huh.
No. Do you want to meme some weed?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I think he's probably, you want to mute the, I got to figure that out.
Mute myself?
Yeah. I got to figure that out. I imagine the default, I'm still just trying to figure out why it wouldn't, pop up. As the default. My next question would be in the bottom right. You can go to your sound mixer. You can open that up and determine which one's your default. But if it's coming out of this laptop or if it's coming out of the speakers of the computer, you would think that it would naturally default to those speakers. So the fact that it's not, I'm like, Oh well. He'll get it. I can always smoke more weed. Some of them I'm really good at. I do my own stunts. I'll do a little more. I'm not even sure how I could walk this through if I wasn't live. I'm not sure what it is. I know, I'm almost certain that if you plug a set of headphones into the side of it, it'll override that default and turn the headphones into the default. And if I didn't use Discord, it'd probably be a lot easier too. Actually, I don't think this is a Discord issue, actually. I think it's defaulting to a media source or an audio source that's not active. So it could be the bottom right settings on the mixer. Trump on Rogan this Friday, is that confirmed, Shorty? Anything for clicks for Rogan, huh? He said he never would. Interesting, though. That's interesting. Yeah. You're always good for a quick. You're always good for a quick. He's more than that, damn it. If you guys didn't know too, I'm streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/pigeons420. If you guys are interested, Mrs. P, let's find some memes if you can. See what you can while I take this rip.
Well, I did.
Oh, you had some?
I did find what I'm getting you for Christmas this year.
Oh,
Lululemon and Boston Bruins.
Did I like that?
You did.
It's because it's Morgan.
I know.
That's our guy.
I know.
Yeah, pretty sweet. We know Morgan. We know.
Well, I know
we know the geeky family.
I know the family.
Yeah, we know the family.
Used to party with some of the family.
We're very proud, very excited, and Lululemon Boston Bruins gear, yes, please.
No, I'm not a huge Lulu fan.
No, but it's got the Bruins.
But, you know. I would make an exception because those are pretty nice. Those are pretty nice, not gonna lie. What else did I find?
Do my own stuff. I was looking at their new jerseys too, but unfortunately, the new jerseys, but with the new logo, unfortunately, is like $600. Jesus. Yeah, I'm like, no, I could do the 2 maybe, but no. The stream stopped. It's not just me.
Here's one for what?
Nope. Might be just you.
What do you got?
Oh, this one. You wake up to this. What do you do? We don't need sound for that.
No music. Wake up to this. What do? I get to the bottom of whoever the fuck left it on the table, because most of my shit's in bags.
I know. I see a lot of stems.
I'm sure it's good.
Nah.
I'm sure it's good. It's in someone's home. I'm gonna assume it's a good home grow. Yeah, you dive in. I'll be curious why'd you leave it all on the table, friend? I'll be like, I had that in the bag. I'll be waking up like pissed. Like, you left that out? I remember when Mr. Grote was here, and we had a little bit of weed, and I left it on the table.
And he came back the next day. He's like, "Oh, we left the weed on the table. No." I was like, "It doesn't matter. It'll be fine." He starts breaking it up. He's like, "Oh, it is fine. It is just fine." I was like, "Yeah, it is fine, because that's kind of the climate we're out here. We don't all just live in the desert." Is live, and Mrs. P pick it up. P's voice in the delay makes sound like an actual. Actually, what the issue is that right before the show, what I miss. Oh, just the fact that we were making fun of you. It's no big deal, though. No big deal. They were making fun of you, and I said, "No, stop."
We weren't making fun. We just said you're always our standby guest in case we have
Stop making
issues.
fun of him. Stop making fun. He's
There was
beautiful.
There was no making fun. Lacey said you're always good for a quickie. That was it.
Beautiful. Yeah, the weed was fine. The weed was just fine. Anyways, I can't remember what I was saying after that. What do we got? What you got?
He's back. Let's try this.
Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Did you get it? Boom. Open it up, babe.
I got no video.
That's all right. Boom. He'll get that second. I still want to hear him. Ding. Click it. There we go. Bro, there we go. Man, I'm glad you were able to figure it out. I'm sorry that's such a pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, it's completely not your fault. I'm just having the worst luck today, man. And for some reason, it wasn't my settings either which way. I completely restarted Discord, and it started working. I double-checked my back-end settings on Discord, and I double-checked them on the computer. And everything lined up. It still wasn't working right. Disconnected my microphone. I think this was interfering with my output for some reason. Put in my headphones, and now it's working.
Okay, bro, I love it. I'm glad you were able to figure it out. Thanks for going through the hassle, man.
Hey, no worries. I was actually really looking forward to being here, and I was super stressed out because my internet went out at my house, too. So I ran over to my warehouse at work so I could get some internet and got here 2 minutes before I was supposed to be on.
Oh, no way.
So I literally flipped up my laptop and then had a completely different set of issues trying to log in. So
Oh, no.
let's get back on topic, though. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Bro, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. I just for those that don't know, NV Closet Med Grower, you've been growing for a very long time. You've been doing YouTube for you'd be considered a dinosaur, brother, in YouTube terms, in online terms. So you've
for this, it's true because in the very early years of YouTube, you pretty much couldn't put weed on it. So I was one of the earlier guys to start regularly putting cannabis on YouTube, like me and MedGrower1 and Growing with Mr. Tight. Rest in peace. He passed away not long ago. But, you know, there's quite a few of us. I think I started my YouTube channel in 2014. something like that.
Like forever ago?
Yeah, that was over 10 years ago at this point.
It is. Yeah, that's crazy, man. So before we dive into anything, NV Closet Med Grower, a little bit about yourself, where you're from. I think it's obvious in the name, but where are you from? What do you do? And how did we get here?
All right, man. Well, I was born and raised in northern Michigan, actually, in a small town called Oscoda in the northeast part of Michigan. And much later on in adulthood, I moved over to Las Vegas, and I've been in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, I moved here in 2009, and then I actually moved to Colorado a few years ago, and then just recently moved back. So in 2020, I moved to Colorado, and then 2023, I moved back to Las Vegas. So I'm back here again. But yeah, currently in Las Vegas, and started off my life and growing actually in Michigan. My very first grows were outdoors in Michigan when I was a teenager. So
Michigan, and I've got friends in Michigan. Rob. So I'm kind of. We thought we had it figured out. There's a slight echo on my end. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of it real quick, but it's not working. Michigan is probably just slightly different climate than Nevada when it comes to trying to grow. Eh?
massively different, man. Like Michigan's about, depending where you're at, 30 to 40 inches of rain a year. So it's slightly higher than average rainfall with somewhat dry summers, really wet springs and falls. Out here in Nevada, it's very much different because we're super dry all year. We're between 4 and 6 inches of rain a year, usually about 4.5 on average. It's a legitimate desert climate. And then the little bit of rain we get is usually comes in monsoon rain. So it pretty much doesn't rain at all. And then when it does rain, you get like an inch or two of rain in a storm and everything gets flooded. So usually in late summer, early fall, you get some monsoon rains. So it's a very different climate, especially for outdoor growing. I did figure out some tips and tricks that work well in the desert out here to get your plants by. But yeah, it's definitely a little different. Most of the time since I've been in Nevada, though, I've obviously been much more focused on hydroponics and indoor growing and that sort of thing. And I've cycled through all sorts of different grow styles from, pretty hardcore organics to straight up synthetic aeroponics, and kind of done all of them on small scale. But I really seem to find my mojo, I guess, or grow the best quality cannabis when I'm using synthetic-based newts with a little bit of organic additives over top. So kind of a synganic type grow style I've really found is where I get my best quality at and where I really focus down to.
You've always had a knack for teaching people. For as far back as I can go on your channel, on your website, you've always been teaching, man. That's kind of something that's come natural to you. Is that what inspired you to create your YouTube channel?
No, but that's what inspired me to continue my YouTube channel. I'll tell you the story real quick, okay?
Please.
One of an older seed company, I don't think they're really around much anymore, but the one that used to sponsor me, North Genetics, the main breeder of that was a guy from Canada called Brookfielder. And he had a YouTube channel in like 2013 and 14, and it wasn't very big, like 500 subscribers or something like that, but he was giving away seeds. So I entered a giveaway on his site without anyone even knowing who I was, and I ended up winning this giveaway for some Smurfberry seeds, which is Plushberry Cross Midnight Kush. And I won these seeds, and I wanted to show Brookfielder the plants I was growing. I was in Nevada growing in a closet, so I put in this long, cumbersome name to make my YouTube channel, ND Closet Med Grower. And I did that specifically so I could show Brookfielder my plants, but I made the videos public. Now, mind you, at this point, I was in Nevada. It was like the first year Nevada had medical laws, and I did get a medical license for it. So I was growing legally, so I didn't mind showing that on YouTube. But obviously at the time, 2014, pretty much half my comments were, dude, you're fucking crazy. You're going to go to prison. What are you doing? But I was technically doing everything legally. And yeah, I actually made it to show another YouTuber, smaller YouTuber, what I was doing with his seeds. And what happened is, as I got more into growing, I started self-studying and really over-intently learning as much as I could. And everyone in the comments section would keep asking me, because I was having these successful mini grows in my closet, they would ask me how I was doing it and different questions. Like I said, the continuation of my YouTube channel actually turned out teaching a lot of people, because I would read those comments. If I didn't know the answer, I would intently research it for hours until I knew as much as I could about the subject, then come back and answer their question. After a while, I realized as the channel got more popular, I kept getting more and more questions to where I couldn't just answer everyone's questions individually. So I decided to make a How to Grow series that turned into a 7-part How to Grow series that went viral. So, and I want to say the series in total has like 2 or 3 million views, and that was the most popular content on my channel. So from that point out, I started doing the weekly updates where I was showing my plants weekly and then also throwing in tutorials and knowledge-based stuff along the way. So I eventually ended up making, you know, like a hash tutorial and all sorts of other things. And I took on sponsors and started making advertisement videos for sponsors, and everything just kept spiraling until I ended up having to build my own LLC behind it, because I was starting to get ad revenue and sponsor revenue and all sorts of things. And it spiraled much quicker and much crazier than I could have imagined, and I just kind of rode the wave. But I never got onto YouTube expecting to get popular or expecting to teach people. So
No. At at that time in 2014, 15, 16, our space wasn't joining YouTube to get popular. If I may, I started YouTube for the very similar reason. I kind of wanted to share well, I started blogging first and writing little articles about what I was doing, and I was like, you know what? I hate reading, and I want to do video because that's just what speaks to me. And then that's what drew me to YouTube. And it wasn't until, like, honestly, a few years ago where the drive for, and not for anything negative, but the Canna content creator was even created, because I started before it. I started before the idea of a Canna creator. Creating Canna content, sure.
to that transition. Like when I started, there wasn't really Canna creators, but then people that I was associating with started to get so popular it became a genre. For instance, like Custom Grow 420 and SmokeTube thing. Like I started following him when he had like fucking 1,000 subscribers or something, and then the guy had millions after a couple of years, and then SmokeTubers became a thing. YouTubers specifically for smoking. And then the rest of us were called grow tubers because we were specifically in the grow side of things. And yeah, at the time, I was one of the more popular ones. There's barely any grow tubers above 100,000 subscribers, and I was quickly gaining. I think my channel is like 80,000 now, and that's with it being like I have barely posted at all in the last 4 years. That's a different story with YouTube monetization messing with me. They actually deleted my channel for 2 months and gave it back with no explanation. So I don't know. I've just kind of steered away from YouTube because I don't want my old content to get deleted. And every time I post a new video, they have a tendency to give me channel strikes. So I don't want to post anything to not get channel strikes. But I'm kind of going on a tangent there.
No, hey, the thing is like, I get it. That's the idea of being a creator today, is you have to choose. You have to choose. Am I going to educate people, continue that education, or am I going to rely on my previous work to do it for me? Because that's the decision I had to make, and I chose to delete the work and start fresh, because I also transitioned to a grower slash learner student to wanting to make videos and then becoming a Canna creator. I am now, in my opinion, more a cannabis content creator than I'm even a grower at this point. It's become a career and a passion and a job.
the other route, man. I started managing facilities. Well, we can kind of go back to where we were, right? So 2016 to 2018, I won 4 different cups, and YouTube was really blowing the fuck up, like we said, both for the smoke tubers and grow tubers. So I was getting intently popular from there. But then in 2018, YouTube deleted my channel for a while, and it really made me re-question, should I keep building this business on a platform that has complete control over me, or should I use the skills and publicity I've gained to transition elsewhere?
Smart.
And that's kind of what I did. I ended up transitioning into where I was managing grow stores for a while, and then after managing some grow stores, I went on to actually managing cultivations. So I helped to start up here in Las Vegas for a while. That was a pure aeroponic indoor cultivation, legal cultivation. And when they were first starting up, they were running out of money for their build out for the rest of their facilities. So they hired me for like 3 or 4 runs. This is my first management opportunity to come in and run their bedroom as flower and their mother room as veg. So I had like a 30 light flower room because eventually the facility was going to be like 25 or 30,000 square foot. So I started managing this facility for some Russians, and kind of a crazy situation. But crushed it, man. I was hitting almost 3 pounds of light in these aeroponic tables, like straight out the bat with just random genetics they gave me. Right? I think I had 2.8 pounds of light on one strain I averaged over 3 runs, and I think 2.9 something on the other. I had 2 different strains they just wanted me to crush out and white label, right? So I did that for a little while, and after leaving there, though, I really wanted to pursue more of my education in this, and there's nowhere in Southern Nevada to go to secondary school or horticulture or agriculture. There's just none of the schools offer it down here at all. I think now there's one that actually does like a 1-year certification in cannabis, but none of them have degrees or anything in actual horticulture. So I moved to Colorado for 3. While I was in Colorado, I went and got a 1-year vocational certification in horticulture, specializing in greenhouse management. And kind of what I really enjoyed about that experience was solidifying a lot of the self-taught knowledge I had from when I was before, like intently studying cannabis just to learn cannabis. And it really helped me solidify all the knowledge I learned there and how it relates to a broader field of crops and plants. And then after that, I got a chance to go run a facility in East Tennessee. So it was a little rough. I was traveling back and forth between Colorado and Tennessee, but I managed a CBD hemp facility of 10,000 square foot in East Tennessee. From when it completely started up, like I helped fill out and actually do some of the build out for their facility. And then I did all the hiring, management, wrote all their SOPs. And I got that facility with, there's about 4,500 square foot of actual canopy space for flower. And then there was a 3-tiered veg that I was using. So it was like 1,000 square foot of veg, but triple tiered. And then, either case, I was crushing it there. We were pulling like 120 pounds a month or so out of that.
That's impressive.
And so that project went really well, but in the long run, my wife and family didn't want to go out to East Tennessee, and my wife kind of wanted to go back out west, so we decided to stop, move out west, and now I actually work for a nonprofit agency that does horticulture STEM training and hydroponic machines and things like that for schools. So I actually help somewhat with the curriculum, and then I also do a corporate wellness program where I go around to different corporations here in Vegas that have hydroponic machines and help them grow like lettuce and herbs and things like that. We harvest it for the employees, and then I also help manage a warehouse, which is where I'm at right now technically, but that warehouse, I ship out hydro machines to schools, and then there's a whole programming team that makes curriculum for it and all sorts of things.
Oh, man. You're keeping your hands full. You're keeping your hands full.
Kind of transitioned away from professionally growing cannabis to now work for a nonprofit organization teaching STEM hydroponics and helping create curriculum for schools and all sorts of things like that. So I'm the hydroponics expert and technician for the company.
That's pretty fucking amazing, man. So turning weed into a career, essentially, not only like in the form of hustling, but educating, which is honestly, bro, I think is your path. I think that's what you were destined for, man.
I think so too, man, because honestly, even if I told you more about my early life, that was a whole lot of hustling and drug dealing and,
course it was.
you know, problems. But I was always super busy and really smart, so I was like in and out of different colleges and never really getting a degree, just fucking living around as a professional student, and then also running to Detroit and picking up packs and running them up north and all sorts of crazy shit. But
What were you in university for?
Oh man, honestly, I went in and out of school so much when I was young. I first went in and out. My very first years out of high school, I went for electrical engineering with robotics and automation at Lake Superior State University.
Oh shit.
It was pretty interesting. I ended up selling more weed than doing the classes, though. I liked my math and my engineering classes. It was, you know, the literature and the history and the chemistry. Yes.
Fuck that. Fuck that. No, I get it. Hustling's gonna make you the money. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I did, and that kind of fucked me there. Then I also went to a community college for a little while for automotive service and repair, and I did okay at that. I was even certified in brakes and suspension for a minute in Michigan. I never got a job in it though. After learning more about it, I always had a hobby in it, but I just didn't want to have busted knuckles and smell like oil for a living. You know what I mean?
I get it.
So, kept getting into trouble.
That's fair.
Went to college for a short while for computer science and did, you know, I was A+ certified for a while and basic computer certifications, and then ended up selling a bunch of weed and dropping out of that school again. I just kept hustling and fucking off, a lot of partying instead of being serious about my study. And then, but throughout all of this, I was on and off growing weed as well, because I learned how to grow when I was really young as a teenager. And I was 18, 19 when I first grew some outdoor crops out in a cedar swamp in northern Michigan. It was a nice site, actually. It was behind a buddy of mine's house, right? And you would go up to the swamp, and all summer long it would be flooded over, right? So you couldn't get out there unless you knew what you were doing. There was these 2 giant pine trees that were downed that would go across like 30 foot of swamp, and you could balance across those logs, and you get out there, and there was a field like 20 yards wide and about 30 yards north to south. And the whole north end of that field would just fill up with weed. And yeah, no one would ever find it though, because there was no way to get onto that little island in the middle of the swamp until the winter when it froze over, and we'd already have the crops harvested. So,
You know, I think it's incredibly interesting that you started growing at 17, outdoors. Do you remember what you were growing back then? Bag seed? Is that what you said?
people that were picking up like brick pounds out of Detroit for cheap, so we would get fucking just like Mexican brick. We'd grow the seeds in the planter behind the house all spring when we were smoking blunts, and anything that germinated, we'd fucking transplant out to the woods. And we usually end up with 100+ plants. You know, did that for a few years as a teenager on and off with my buddy.
Man,
shout out to Dave.
Who?
Super Dave. If you wouldn't know him, he's not anyone in the industry, and honestly, last I heard, he wasn't doing so well. He was a little rough, having some alcohol problems and such, and I hadn't talked to him in years. But yeah, man, good times when we were kids, anyways.
Brother, many have come and many have gone during our time on this space. You know, Subcool is another one. I'm pretty sure you've had a few conversations with him, yeah?
I used to know Subcool. He actually, he used to watch my channel too and gave me some big compliments on it sometimes. Still some things that I'm humbled about, because I really did look up to Subcool and all the things he did to express genetics throughout the years, especially when he was young. You know, finding, or not young, but younger than he was when I met him back in the 90s and such. He did a lot. And growing in.
Sorry, you met him in the 90s?
No, but I respect the work he did in the 90s. I didn't meet him until he was older.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry, continue. Unmute him.
There was nowhere to learn this, and I came from a somewhat conservative family. I didn't come from a family where like it was regularly growing weed and shit like that. I have another cousin that did, but that was about it. So the only place we could learn, it was the very early years of the internet, and I had access to a desktop computer, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was able to log in, say, 99, 2000. I was born in 84. I turned 40 this year, man. Getting old as shit.
You damn. You look good, brother. You look good, man. You look at 40.
Yeah.
Good for
in
you.
a couple months. December's my birthday, so
Well, happy early birthday.
thanks, man. So, yeah, when I was young, I used to read a lot of articles off of the forum boards online, and Subcool was one of the people contributing to those forum boards in the 90s, writing grow articles. And I didn't know who he was at that time. I didn't even barely remember his username. I was just trying to fucking find the information to figure out what I got to do. And yeah, I come across some of Subcool's articles when I was really young, and that's kind of where I got my very first basic knowledge on how to grow a plant even outdoors. So, and then later on in life, you know, I'd met him at a few different times, hanging out at different festivals, and like he would invite me to the back of the TGA booth and give me seeds, and you know, gave me a bunch of hash one time. I was on a live stream for Ocean Grown Seeds at the Ocean Grown booth, and I think it was on the old Grow Tube Roundtable show, right?
Yep.
We
Yep,
had
I remember that.
stream going at High Times Festival. This is a good story about Subcool. I'm sitting there, and we just had a random camera that was live the whole time, and I was high as shit, and I just decided to sit down and take some dabs in front of the camera, right? So I sat down in front of the camera, started bullshitting on it. Subcool walks by, and he's like, "Hey, man, NV, what's up, dude? You need some hash?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, what you got?" He had the fucking judge's case for the High Times Festival with him for the solvent list. And he ended up giving me some cookies and cream from Cuban Grower, fucking 6-star full melt hash out of that. And I had an Oreo cookie with me, and I hollowed out the Oreo cookie because it was on a titanium e-nail, and I used a Oreo cookie as the carb cap, taking a dab of some fucking Cuban grown fucking cookies and cream given to me by Subcool, man. It was just epic.
Wow. Wow. Given to by Subcool, man. Honestly, legend in the game. Rest in peace, brother. Oh shit, just Nerd Gang? No, what was it? Weed Nerd Gang.
Weed nerds.
Weed Nerds. Yeah, a bit removed from that, man. You mentioned the Grow Tube Round Table, bro. That, if I may, was one of the original Canna podcasts, grow podcasts, and regardless of the drama, if you will, it had a ton of names ahead of its time, and you were a part of it, man. That's where I saw a ton of conversations with you on there. You were on there, yes?
Yes, I was actually on there from very early on. I joined the cast of that show in like third or fourth episode and stayed on there throughout most of it until like the last 6 months before it really died out. And but yeah, at one point it was an insanely popular show. We would pull, you know, 1,000 to 1,500 concurrent viewers live, and you know, 50 to 100,000 views on each episode. So it would it was a little crazy, but it was a fun time, man. Dago ran it, and he was really smart and knows how to run all of the audio video equipment and streaming equipment. And he used to work professionally in the audio video industry without going too much into it. So he had a lot of connections for insanely good hardware and streaming equipment and things like that. So that's why he ran the whole thing. But then it was, you know, me and Stone Ninja and Medgrower One and just all the big YouTubers from back then that were all grow tubers. We were all on the show, and we had a panel of like 12 or 15 of us that could show up at any given time, and they would max out each show at 10. So at any given show, we would normally have between 8 and 10 panelists on there that all specialized in various different things. And it was just knowledge after knowledge after knowledge after knowledge every week. And then we would bring on guests that were, you know, uh, well in various different things. A bunch of legendary people got to meet and talk with through that show. So it was a cool experience for the few years it was out. If I would definitely recommend, if anyone can find some of the old episodes on that show and you really want to learn some shit, just start watching those episodes. There is so much goddamn knowledge every week on there.
I'm pretty sure that you can still find the episodes. It's on YouTube. I think it's GrowTube Roundtable. I'm pretty sure Doggo is uploaded. See, you refer to him as Dago. I say Doggo, his later name, which people, it's a generational thing, we'll say. What's that?
I mean, I know him personally. Been to his house a bunch of times, all sorts of things. So it's, you know, and that's how I met him. So now my brain just.
You know. I know. The Doggo thing is not how you actually say his name correctly. And there was like, I just remember when he used to say off the cuff when people used to call me by my right name, back in the day, and because there was just a shift in time when people didn't get it, it kind of got lost in time. And I've done some projects with Dago over a couple years ago, and yeah, good dude. I love Ocean Grown. I love what they've done. Haven't spoken with them in a couple years since, but yeah, huge supporter and everything. The GrowTube Roundtable, if I may, is actually where From the Stash originates, because Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV and myself, we were both on the same episode, and it was that episode where we were like, first we had never met, we met, and then we said we were going to have a conversation, and then boom, from the following conversation after being on the roundtable, From the Stash hashed out. And yeah, here it is today. And I want to say, before we go too far, we would love to have you on From the Stash as well, if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm sure we can arrange that sometimes, man.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good situation.
Fucking great situation. Not to mention, we're actually going to be in Vegas, MJ BizCon week, and we're going to be recording some live episodes.
Fun, dude.
What's that?
BizCon is always a blast.
Yes.
Yeah,
BizCon
man,
is always fun.
Honestly, it's really nice to see and meet with all the people that run the companies for the products you buy too. Because at MJ BizCon, you really find a lot of the major companies have representatives there that are pretty high up in the company, and they're really sociable. So you can just kind of float around from the booth and make really good connections with a lot of people at that event. So it's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of great, not only connections, but friends, man. I've made some incredible friends going to the BizCon, but it's not so much what goes on in the BizCon, it's what happens outside the BizCon. All the meetups afterwards. Bro, you've been, I think I've been to a couple events. You've been to a ton of events, bro.
I got a specific story that's really good. I'm not telling publicly. That I'll gladly tell you in person if we meet up here in Vegas.
Couple weeks, bro. Yes, December. First few.
Specifically an MJ BizCon after party with some legends, man. So, but it was a little crazy.
Good. I can't wait to hear it because I want to. But yeah, we're coming out first week of December. Are you going to MJ this year?
I don't know. I probably will. Honestly, I still have some really close friends that usually have booths and things like that. So a lot of times I don't necessarily like go out of my way to see what I'm doing, but I'll hit up some people the week of if I got time, and usually someone will give me a pass. I have some long-standing connections with like Horticultural Lighting Group and GML LEDs and a bunch of other different companies, different ones I used to be sponsored by and various things throughout the years, and I've still kept in touch with some of those people. So anytime they're at events, they're always more than happy to have me come in and hang out with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't doubt it, brother. I've heard, and not only have I heard, but I also perpetuate that the best time of MJ BizCon is outside of MJ BizCon, just in the little smoke sessions that they've had there. And not to mention, you're from the Mecca, bro. You're in Vegas. Like, you're in Vegas right now, you said, still? Yeah.
Oh,
So you're in the Mecca. It's right there.
Double-
Say that again?
That's actually where I'm at right now at this warehouse location. I'm actually kind of near like the Raiders Stadium, about like a mile or two from the Strip. So I'm in the middle of Vegas right now.
That makes sense. Bro, see, being in the Mecca, it makes sense. So you're like, yeah, I might go. Because, bro, you not only have you been to events, you're award winning. You've won some cups, man. And not just one. You want to speak on that? Please.
Sure, man. Yeah, in fact, that's kind of fun. I was telling my YouTube story earlier. During that, after I got a little popular on YouTube, I decided, it gave me enough confidence to kind of want to enter some cups and see how I could do. And I ended up fucking crushing it, man. I had this strain. Unfortunately, I don't have the cut anymore. I still have some original F1 seeds, but I don't have the cut of Beyond Dreams, which was like a blue dream cross with plush berry cross with some other things, but overall really, really fruity and kind of unique strain. And the cut I had was like a strawberries and cream flavor, incredibly smooth. Had it tested one time at like 2.5% terps and 23% THC, and it was just a really, really good, really smooth smoke. And I won 3 different cups on that one, and then another cup later on a different strain. But yeah, I got a 2016 Las Vegas Hemp Fest Cup. There was quite a few competitors in that one. I got best hybrid in that, and I think out of everything entered, I ended up second.
Wow.
With best hybrid raw. The indica they rated just higher than mine, and that was against a whole bunch of like dispensaries and cultivations and all sorts of shit. And I grew this in my garage in a tent. You know what I mean? And I was just crushing it. So. Entered some more shit and ended up winning. Was it Las Vegas Bus Cup? Bus Entertainment was like in LA and Las Vegas, kind of more local region entertainment magazine, and they had an awards festival for something. I ended up winning that one. And then 2017, I entered the Jack Herer Cup out here, and I ended up winning Best Medical Flower on that one. And then 2018. I entered Jack Herer Cup again and won that one on base stuff from North Genetics. And that one was the breeder cut, though. One of the breeders for North Genetics at the time. There was 3 breeders. It wasn't just the original guy. They expanded out. They had quite a few strains going. And one of the main breeders sent me his like F2 or F3 breeder cut, a Space Dust, and that's the one I won the 4th cup with.
Man.
And know what else is kind of interesting about that? I won that on like each one of those cups were grown on different nutrient lines. Some of them were different cultivation styles. Like everything was different every one of these times, and I was still just crushing them anyway. It was. I grew a lot of ego between 2016 and 2018. I'll tell you that.
I bet. Well, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Man, I've won nothing. I think in the 7th grade, I was playing Heads Up 7 Up on the desk, and I think I came in 2nd place, bro. I was pretty excited about it. I was telling kids for years. Actually, I mentioned that the other day, babe. You remember?
Yeah, I do.
So that was a pretty big moment. But you've won more than one. That's pretty sweet. No, that's incredible, bro.
Yeah. Recording what I was doing on YouTube like multiple times a week and just telling exactly what I was doing to damn near every time I touched the plant. I at least mentioned it in one of my episodes or explained about it, and then tried to give some background information about it. So
see when
I was winning all those, so it's not like anyone could really say shit about it other than, look, this is what he did.
Yeah. See, when you were posting and posting on YouTube, you were posting in a time when posting every week, doing weekly updates was the thing to do. Post, check in with the plants, see how you've been doing, give a little check in, little review, and you just did that weekly over and over and over. And there's no way that that could happen today. No way that you could just post a series.
Like I said, I can't post shit, otherwise it gets super scrutinized. I'm on the bad list for YouTube, so again, I have so much old content, and some of it educational, so I really don't want to get rid of it. So I try not to post now because I'm really afraid I'll get channel strikes, and then they'll look at my back shit and give me channel strikes from shit 10 years ago.
They will.
I'm fucked.
They will.
I stay off the table. So now I'm just a voyeur on YouTube. I don't really post there.
Bro, you have a wealth of knowledge that's unlike many others, man. I think that this community would be absolutely tickled if you had started a second channel, as simple as Envy Closet Med Grower 2. And or 420 is a bit stupid, but only because you're asking for troubles. I'm Pigeons 420, so I say that with respect. The amount of content that you have to offer would be epic, man. Would be epic. I think it'd be great. Taking people for an adventure, creating without any bounds. Just create another email address and start again. They're not going to fox with your other channel.
Yeah, and I do have some videos that can cross over too. Actually, one of my favorite educational videos I did was actually I was managing a grow store out here in Vegas, and I did a public event just inviting people to the grow store to teach them how to grow weed, and it was like a hour and a half of me doing a whole presentation on the basic essentials of botany and how everything works, kind of based towards cannabis, but with broad knowledge. And Mr. Growit came out to that one.
I know him.
I have some stories too. I had met Mr. Growit quite a few years ago. Chris, he's a good buddy. So either case, he came after that one and helped me record part of it and let me use some of his microphone equipment and shit like that. And that ended up being one of my best, most educational videos on there. Just packed with knowledge, about an hour and 20 minutes of me just going nonstop through a slideshow, explaining, the basics of botany, important hormones, how different minerals are utilized within the plant, deficiency syndromes, just everything you need to know to get base knowledge to really, really understand kind of holistically on a basic botany level how the plant's functioning and working and what you need to grow it basically. And yeah, he came and helped record a bunch of that early on too, and I would recommend anyone that does want to learn and is specifically looking at my channel, start with that video because that's one I did a little later on. I had a little more knowledge, and I just spit out knowledge for an hour and 20 minutes, and really you get the basics of botany by the end of it. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Growit, great dude.
He is a pretty good dude. He is a pretty good dude. I know him. He's a pretty great dude, but he's an even better friend. I love that guy. He's an awesome dude, and recently a father.
Content you've done together with him and Rob at CLTV, and you guys just do awesome with your podcasting. So, and yeah, he's always been a cool guy and pretty decent acquaintance and shit, and I've known him for quite a few years now. So, just had to shout him out too.
Yeah. No, he's a fantastic dude. Actually, and quite frankly, I couldn't believe how short he is in person. I tower over him. Like I often just look down. I'm like, Mr. Growit, I couldn't believe you're so short. But you're gonna say so? You're like, he's like pretty tall on me. The concept of growing and getting into growing, what even got you into it in the first place?
What was that? Man, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I think something changed on our Discord.
Oh, you're probably right. Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, I got it. I know
I
what
can
it is.
hear you. It's just really faint for some reason.
Really faint. I know why.
Yeah, like a third of the volume.
If you right click on my name, you can slide that dial all the way up to the
I
right.
got you at max volume.
Okay, I'm plugging this back in right now, boy. I lost the volume on my computer. Hold a second. I wonder if I come in here. Oh, I'll steal it. You can hear me okay right now? If I kind of talk like this?
I can
Okay.
hear you. I just gotta.
Yeah, focus. Babe, on the other side of the sound sheet is the plug-in cord I need. I can't use this one.
Something about cultivation.
Yeah, I was actually referring to how short Mr. Grow it is, and I wanted to make sure you heard that because he's much shorter than me. So when we meet in person, I want you to know that. You'll be like, wow, pigeons, I didn't expect you to be so tall. When it comes to cultivation, I was curious what got you started in the first place. You started growing outdoors at 17. What got you to carry on?
Just at a young age, I liked weed, and and honestly, I'll put this out here too, just like Pigeon said earlier in the episode, and at various times, you know, I don't necessarily advocate for people start smoking as early as I did either. So I'm gonna definitely put that out there. Like he said, there is research that states it's really not good until your brain's much more developed in order to start, you know, modifying it with heavy doses of cannabinoids outside of medical necessity. If you have medical necessity for someone at a minor age and the parent consents to it, that's a different situation.
Yes.
So I'm gonna put that out there. But I started
Yes.
smoking at a very young age, and then while I was in high school, I was selling weed and shit. So I mean, I was always super active. I was, you know, a three-sport athlete, and I had decent grades and did AP calculus in high school, and then I was also selling and smoking weed the whole time. So I was just off the walls. And by the end of it, though, I realized after I got out of high school that I really should just be growing weed because the shit costs way too much, and I was like 4 hours north of Detroit. So every time I had to go re-up with a few pounds, we were driving like 8 hours, you know, 4 hours one way, 4 hours back, go pick up 3, 4, 5 pounds, drive all the way back. It was a pain in the ass. So I just decided, hey, if I'm at least growing some weed outdoors, then every fall I can have enough weed to skate me through most of winter, and then not have to run down to Detroit till the spring when the fucking weather's better.
Smart.
Really my incentive to get growing. And honestly, on a crazier situation, the very, very first time I ever smoked weed, I was 12 years old, and there was seeds in my weed, and I threw the seeds out on the side of my house. It was spring. One of them germinated. I was 12 years old. I lived next to some public forest. I went out in the woods about 50 yards away from my house, dug a little hole in the forest where there was some light, and planted that thing. Made it up into midsummer. It was about 4 foot tall. And deer came and ate all the leaves off of it, and it ended up dying.
That sucks.
First time I ever grew weed, I was actually 12, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just planted it in the woods, and it did something, but never made it to flower. Now that I'm older and realize what I remember, it's like, yeah, I really should have done something to help protect against the deer and, you know, a few other tricks that I learned later on. So that was my very first experience. And then my next experience, I was 17, turning 18, yeah, in high school, and started growing some weed out in the woods with a buddy. And then we kept that up for a few years. I went to college for a little bit, came back, and then that next summer we planted some more weed and, you know, kept it rolling.
Kept it rolling. Fair to say.
So that's kind of how that started. So I really got into it because I was young and dumb and wanted money and weed, and you know, it might not have been the best incentive, but it really led to a lifelong career for me in horticulture and something I'm proud of. And at this point, I'm, you know, like I said, I currently work for a nonprofit and actually help teach kids and do all sorts of things. We also have a hydro farm program that we're brought out at two of the high schools out here. So I have to go into the high schools with 10 different hydro units there and help teach them how to cycle through crops and about pH and EC and how things work. So I keep myself busy and I'm doing a lot of positive things to help the next generation currently, and I hope I can continue on the same path. So I really can't hate that I got into weed for not necessarily the most noble of reasons, but at the same time, I also got it to a point where I taught a lot of other people how to, you know, how to utilize cannabis on a much greater level, and now trying to extend that into general knowledge of horticulture and for the next generation. So, like I said, you really can't hate the journey you're on, regardless of what it is. Just keep trying to improve, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
And adapt through the censorship, because it seems like the only the only hurdle that we have seems to be the suppression from the platforms in which we try to spread that word. Because
Yeah, and I've dealt with that directly, like I said. So
yeah, same. You and I, you started in 2014.
I think so. It was either 2013 or 2014, something like that. That started on YouTube. I'd have to look at the channel date.
Yeah. You start 13, 14. I didn't start till 16 on YouTube. I was blogging in 14, so I wasn't doing video. I was just writing articles. But yeah, when 2018 came around, it was massive suppression, massive the deleting and the removing of the content. Yeah, it was nasty, and the whole being afraid and not certain of where the future's gonna go was the reality.
2 rounds of major suppression, and it's kind of a messed up story because especially the bigger one in 2018, it kind of got it was all wrapped around a giant thing with marketing firms, right? So here's the basics of what happened, because this is also the height of what I was doing on YouTube. I was getting 10,000 views a day that I was releasing content and all sorts of things. So I was paying avid attention to what was going on. Well, what happened is there was giant marketing firms, right, for like Procter and Gamble and all these giant companies that spend hundreds of millions of dollars on YouTube through, they funnel it through specific marketing networks. Well, those marketing networks got together and decided, their videos or their advertisements were getting put on really messed up content, because you used to be able to see a lot of things. There was a lot less censorship on YouTube. So there was ISIS beheading videos and all sorts of things that were just not good, right?
Yep, and you can actually still find those videos, for the record. You can still find that shit, but we're bad.
Advertisements in front of them. And these big companies decided to boycott YouTube over it, and it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to YouTube in advertising contracts.
Can you actually believe? Can you actually believe that has less to do with the reason than Logan Paul running through Suicide Forest in Japan and taking a picture of a body hanging from a tree that also had ads in front of it?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
It goes to show the priority level of this platform. For the record, just the ethical level of, they don't care about the ISIS shit, or sorry, for legal reasons, let me rephrase. They don't mind putting ads in front of that shit, but as soon as Logan Paul's involved, adpocalypse.
Yeah, so what happened, the backlash to that was YouTube then went and cracked down on any channel that was on the verge. So gun tubers, weed tubers of any sort, whether it was smoke tubers or grow tubers, but all the weed tubers, all the gun tubers, like we're all doing legal things in legal states at this point, but because it's still technically federally illegal, they just crack down on every bit of it, and they also crack down on the videos they should. So there was a lot less of that content
right.
afterwards. At the same time, we kind of got the backlash because we were on the fringe of society, let's just say. I don't know a good way to term it. We
That's a
kind
good
of
way to
got
put it.
clustered in. Those big advertisers don't want to be in front of us either. So in 2016, like you said, it cracked down into where a lot of people got kicked off the platform, and they were slowly picking people off through like 2016 and 2017. And I kind of dodged most of that. They just kind of left me be for some reason, which I don't know why. And then later on in the 2018 one, they went through and just did a massive cut, and like half the weed tubers just channels deleted, and like 80% of them never got them back. But then 2 months later, they went through a wave of just sporadically giving a few weed tubers their channels back, and my channel was fully deleted for 2 months, like I was saying, and they just gave it back.
I was in the same boat.
So weird.
I don't get it. They did the exact same thing to me. Lost it it was like 2 to 4 months or whatever it was, and then randomly got it back out of nowhere.
That 2018 one specifically, if I remember right, had a lot to do with those big advertisers backing out of the platform. So they made a deal with those advertising companies on how they would change their content, and afterwards they came back. So there was like a good 6 months where YouTube barely had any ads to even play, so everything was super repetitive and like all smaller companies. And then all of a sudden the big companies came back and everyone was kicked off the platform. It was kind of a mess, you know what I mean? And ever since then, though, they went and then implemented, where there's different monetization for 18 plus and or not, whereas it wasn't even distinguished before whether it was to kids or not. It was just whatever. And then and that changed things because they made all of cannabis channels 18 plus regardless. And then afterwards, they changed how the ads play on the network. Whether it's if your channel's 18 plus, then you're even more restricted on which ads can play, and those ads don't pay as much as the broad network ones. So it got to a point where I used to be able to sustain a whole business with my YouTube based on various different ad revenues, to where I was barely making $50 a month off of fucking thousands and thousands of views, and then they deleted my channel, and then I just kind of, ever since then, I just randomly post things here and there, but I haven't been active. You know what I mean?
I get it. It's a different time today than it was back then. We come from a time where we come from a town down under. Sorry, I think it's a song I heard one time. We come from a different time. We come from a different time, and we could do different things. We could post different things. We could talk about things in a way that you just simply can't do now. And I and my channel is a product of that. There's no weed on it. There's no grow. Every time I get age suppressed, I go through the edit to see what I can blur and what I can edit out to see if it makes it. And it sucks. It adds what some are doing in a couple minutes, to me a couple hours.
The blur.
What's that?
Yeah, I was saying if I tried to do that on my content, my old content, the whole video would be a blur.
A constant blur. Yeah.
Yeah, showing my plants in various different stages, explaining what's going on, explaining what genetics were in there, using different lighting in each one, different grow styles in each one, and just going through it all. And then I used to finish each video with like giant dabs or giant bong rips and things like that of the products I was growing. So I'd make my own hash, into my own rosin, and take like a 1/4 gram fucking dab of that on camera. Yeah, you can't do none of that no more.
The new kids can do that shit. Like I there's something about our channels being pre-2018. The new kids, they can show as much weed as they want. They can get high. They can sell shit to the kids. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But for some reason, I feel like our channels got blacklisted sometime along the way, and now literally it lands on Mr. whatever YouTube's desk, and they're like, no, NV Closet Make Grower, suppress.
I made a video where I just smoked a small little mini pipe, and then I walked through the perennial and annual flower garden at Colorado State University, like showing actual flowers of different varieties and different phenotypes of different varieties that they're trying to breed out and do for testing, so they can bring that as the next generation of seeds and shit. So they send them to different places to test all these things. You can go through and just see thousands of different types of plants, all organized by species and varieties, so it's cool as shit. But yeah, that got demonetized, and
How
they
dare
tried
you?
to give me a channel for it, and then I repealed the channel strike, and they took back the channel strike, but still left it fully demonetized. I'm walking through a flower garden, bro.
Yeah. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Man, we could talk for a lot longer. Despite all the technical issues we've had, we could keep going. What more or less what I've had. You got over yours right away. I would love to have you on from the stash. We're in Vegas, first weeks of December, and I know for a fact the boys would be honored to have you come by. We'll make sure that you get there safe and sound, well fed, and well quenched in thirst. We would just love to have you in person. We sit down and chat all about the garden, hash into the plant, and fully pun intended, and just have a good conversation, bro. You're down for that?
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. We'll have to try to make sure we can organize that, especially while you guys are out here in person.
We're gonna.
So.
Yep, we're gonna. We'll keep in touch. We'll keep in touch. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, I know you're not posting, but you do have the website. If anyone wanted to get a hold of you or keep in check with you, where could they reach you? I know you're doing some nonprofit. Where could they reach you or get in touch or support?
Actually, I'm semi-active on Instagram, so if you want to go over to my Instagram, NV Grower, if you send me a DM on Instagram, I'm usually available, depending. I mean, I'm not going to say I answer everything because I'm pretty bad at that, but I do my best to get back to people when I can. So if you send me a DM on Instagram and it's something direct, I usually get a hold of it there, and I'm semi-active, so every once in a while post a picture when I'm on vacation or hanging out somewhere cool or happen to be somewhere and I'm smoking. I might take a selfie and post or something like that. But I do log into Instagram and hang out there and DM people. So that's probably the best place to get a hold of me for most people, the general public, or if it's somewhat business related or something going on, you can always email me, ndclosetmedgrower@gmail. So,
Brother, I'm telling you, your work has been referenced many times on From the Stash. I know I've referenced to videos of yours in the past, some of your DIY. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate everything that you've offered this community. And I strongly think you should consider maybe even just coming up with another channel where you just get high with the people from the old channel that love your shit that just want to chill.
honestly, everyone I know that's still somewhat active on social medias, they're the same way. They're like, you should really start growing in another tent at your house and throw up some videos and the equipment to throw it up. I just don't have an active home grow right now, and I'm pretty busy doing the nonprofit work. So I am hoping sometime soon. I'm thinking about just popping up a little 3x3 tent just because I'm sick of not growing my own weed. Good news is I do have homies out here that are home growers, so I'd be visiting my homies and getting some good fresh.
Good. And man, honestly, not growing isn't a huge deal. People don't even think I grow my own weed anyways, because they look at my channel and they're like, "You're just a gossip channel. You don't even grow weed anyway." So you know what? It is what it is. People want to get high. Don't. Sorry, what was that?
Well, I was saying YouTube's just no fun and won't let us grow the weeds.
It's unfortunate. It's either you try to survive and make do, or you don't. And I'm trying to survive and make do. But you know what? I always want to remind people too that don't worry about trying to appease the audience. Not worry about. Try to focus on your community, because your community doesn't give a fuck in regards to if you start another channel, if it's just about getting high, if it's just a garden update every once a year, or whatever.
they love you, and they love your presentation and the way you deliver, and that's what I think think we should bring back from the old days.
I agree, man. That natural organic channel growth, man. The way you get that is not by buying followers, not by, buying advertising campaigns. It's by making the content people actually want to see and engaging with your audience. Like I said, when I started out, I was answering every comment I could till where it got to the point it was taking me hours each night, and I realized this is crazy. I'll just do a few of them here and there because my shit got too big. But when it was smaller scale, I was answering and engaging with everyone I could, trying to teach as much as I could as I was learning more and more, and and it helped progress me into where I'm at in a major way. And I do recommend, if you have the opportunity or the drive to put out some sort of media that you can share and create a community on, and you feel confident in being able to do that, do it. Heck yeah, that's the way to be. It's definitely been a benefit and a blessing in my life, and I'm pretty sure it has for pigeons as well. So I do know we gotta get going. I keep rambling. One last thing I want to say is I do want to be back with you another time, and maybe the next time, instead of telling personal stories, we'll actually get into some plant science and some various different topics, talk about some botany, talk about some different horticulture techniques.
I would love to.
I love knowledge, and it was great to introduce some of my personal stories and some of my experiences to your audience. And I think next time we need to do some teaching.
Yes, that's what From the Stash is all about. We're going to dive into that. Bro, thank you so much for being here, man. I do appreciate you being vulnerable and diving into some of the personals and just giving us a look at what it took or what it was like being a creator in the early ages of GrowTube, YouTube content, man. Thank you, brother. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope some of the greatest of the flock come and check out you and what you're doing on your adventures. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yes, of course. Much blessings, man. You have a good one.
Cheers, brother. You too. Thank you, man. Wow. That's my guy, man. Wow. Huge shout out to NV Closet Med Grower, man. We had a few issues there tonight with the show. Thank you for bearing with us. First show, new mixer, won't happen again, I promise. My Twitch streams, fucking flawless. They're great. Might even be streaming after this, doing a little GTA. But flawless. I need to do a little more investment with the tea. Sorry about that. We will have Mr. NV Closet Med Grower. God damn it! I wish I should got his first name. Over again, and we will dive into things where it's a little more tactful. Huge shout out to Mrs. P. Thank you. Thank you. She tried to make this one work as best she could, but we had that little bit of an echo. I know there was the echo, and she made it for a half second there so you can remember what it sounded like. I know we had it. She tried to stay on it. She killed it. That's my wife. Forgive the graphics that showed up. Weren't they great, though?
To say the test of the night is how many things did Mrs. P fix on the fly?
Every single one of them. And you know why that happened, Mrs. P? Because at the last minute, remember what we did?
Because I moved a bunch of stuff last minute. Oh, I thought it was because I was resizing stuff last minute.
We moved
the camera.
To explain why the odd curled.
Yep, that's right.
And we moved it. When we moved it, the only thing we checked was the guest to make sure they were square. Because gosh, we want to represent.
Okay, well, I'm glad it wasn't me then.
No, that's just the thing. If you think this is something we just throw together 10 minutes before the show, you're right. No, just kidding. This shit takes
It was like an hour tonight that I came down, and you've been doing it all day.
I did stream.
You did stream. You told me this morning you had so much work to do.
I just got accepted into a new city for Grand Theft Auto.
I know. And technically that is work.
And in fact, I'm probably going to play tonight, and I'm not going to go to bed. So you can almost count on it, but depending if I take a pee and Mrs. P and I high five, I give her a big kiss, and maybe I'm just going to go cuddle with my dogs. Maybe. But I'm probably going to open up the stream, and I'm going to get a little bit hairy. Tonight, like nothing... or like no other, nope, like all other we need to do a community highlight. Very important. Fuck. Run it. Community highlights. It's a little bit off, eh? It's a little bit off. The audio, is it still a little bit off? It sounds good in my earpiece, slightly delayed, awkwardly, but is it just me? Is it just me?
It might just because you and I were talking and I had my mic unmuted.
Oh, see, right now it's going to sound wonderful. Yeah, it's good now. Yeah, we know what this was. Mrs. P was literally on the fly. I got two audio sources burning at the same time. She was on the fly, mutant. I'm sure you figured that out. Guys, appreciate you guys bearing with us, man. Appreciate you guys bearing with us. We're going to figure this out, okay? One of these days. I'm glad to be able to do this with my wife because we grow together. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about tonight's community highlight. I want to highlight tonight's community highlight because this is a man who is a wealth of information. And as a matter of fact, might be a familiar face. It's my rookie mycologist right here, baby. The latest guest on Grow Talk with Mr. Grow It. He came in and dropped so much information in regards to organic growing. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you could click on the barbecue wings, babe, you've never seen better barbecue wings. Check that out.
Ew. Oh. Why? Why? Oh, no, okay. Sorry.
Oh, God. Isn't that nuts?
You know I don't like crawly things.
I know. It's totally AI. You want to turn it back on again? Watch it again.
No.
Try to find one that you can watch. Try to find you can watch, Chad. Take a look at this.
I don't want to.
Flock. Grab one. Grab one. Eat it quick. Just bite it. Yeah, my comment was, oh my God, no. But a wealth of knowledge. You guys have to go check out my rookie mycologist solid conversation on Mr. Growit's video on the Garden Talk and that one right there. Yep. And solid information over on his Instagram as well. Make sure you go check him out. I'm a huge fan of his content. I think you will be too. Boom. That's tonight's community highlight. Guys, we introduced a segment tonight right before we had our interview called Peeing Before We Interview. And it worked really well, but I still got to pee. I'll admit, literally last day when I got up to go pee, I had to go like this. It was painful. If I had gone full, I would have ripped something. I think I would have ripped. I had to pee so bad. And let me tell you, huge shout out to Adam because it was a wonderful conversation. I probably could have left, but I didn't. To go pee. And him and I would have talked forever, so it's probably best that I didn't. I will fix the audio tonight, guys. Huge shout out to you guys for being here. Huge shout out to everybody who supports the show, supports Mrs. P and I doing our thing over here, which is you guys. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up button. Thanks for leaving comments. Thank you guys for enjoying the videos that I've been posting this week. Huge shout out to the editor, Matt, who's been doing the videos over the last couple weeks. He's been doing a killer job, and I'm proud to have him on as the team, part of the team. And more importantly, or as important, or just as important, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you guys for bearing with us. You know, when these shows go wrong, I can see when the views go down. And at the end of the day, I still know that it's the same people that pull up for me every single time. You fucking weasels. I love you, okay? Double A, Hog Fan, On a Roll, Headies, Smalls, Zero Tolerance, Dynagrow, Idiom. You guys, I'm telling you right now, I'll name all 80 of you if you say something. I'll name you right now. You guys are a gem. And Mrs. P and I, from the bottom of our heart, want to let you guys know that we love you. We appreciate the consistent, just persistent love that we get from you guys. The support, it's almost like I couldn't do no wrong. But I think if I molded weed and got someone in my community sick, that would be the limit. But maybe it isn't. Maybe I could just take people out and it wouldn't matter. But the reality is that I would never do that because I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you guys. And it just means the world to me that you guys tune in every single week to see how bad can I really fuck this up. And, you know, it's like a train wreck. I understand. You know, it's hard to look away sometimes, but I know that you're here out of love more than anything else. And whether you love looking at train wrecks or you love coming here to chill with me, I appreciate you. And my community is our community, is your community, and it would be nothing without you. So thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. We got another fantastic guest at the top of the show on Wednesday as well. It's going to be Grow Pains. What's that? It's in the middle of the show. Yep, not the top of the show. Top of the second half, right? Yep, Mrs. P is going to put me straight, okay? So you guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you guys so much. I can almost guarantee I'm going to be going live on Twitch tonight for the rest of the night. Probably go into the wee hours of the morning. We'll see how it goes. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Have yourselves a fantastic and safe week. And I will see you. Well, maybe I'll see you in 20 minutes over on Twitch. Who knows? If not, I'll see you next week. I got a wicked product update release setup video coming. Spider Farmer. Okay? I love you guys. Appreciate you. Peace.
She's gonna love you.